we get into tomorrow. So there's the warning right there. We do not have a watch on. I apologize for that. Here is the radar the past couple of hours, and it's a pretty heavy storm. It's not, doesn't really jump out at you, but it has a little bit of rotation in it, and that's why we're kind of concerned about that. So let me go back up here, and we'll kind of track it for you. We're looking at potentially some strong winds, 50 to 60 miles per hour. So again, it doesn't have to be tornadic to cause some big problems. So we're going to zoom in, and here we are right there, Charlestown and Brunswick and Berryville. That's a pretty big storm too, but the storm itself is a little bit north of that. Okay, a little bit north of that. I'm going to go up here just a little bit here. Let's go into Charlestown. Rainfall rates here, not crazy, but still some heavy rain. There's still the risk of flooding with this storm too. It's not just all about wind and tornadoes. There could be some flooding with it as well. So let me kind of reset here. We'll go back, and again, there's the warning right there. It's in between Hagerstown and Frederick. All right, that's and remember, it's moving northeast. So if we talk about it being here, then if you're northeast of this, you still have to take cover, even if you're outside of this box. Myersville, hope you're taking cover right now. It's a pretty bad storm. And also up toward Lewistown around 15. You're out of the warning, but if it holds together, they're going to extend this. And we'll watch carefully because this goes until 6:15. We'll see if they extend this warning or if they think the rotation has kind of collapsed a little bit. But even if you are in Lewistown, still going to have a severe thunderstorm with winds of 40, 50 miles per hour. And this is, so if you guys are back in this part of the warning, you're done. You're fine. There's no worries. But if you are a little further to the north and the east, now it's essentially over Myersville, okay? Let's zoom in a little more. So now it's about to cross over 70. I would not advise anybody going home 70 at this point through Myersville. There's a live shot for you, live camera. I got to look at something on my phone for just a second to just talk about where exactly the rotation could be. Well, I-70 between Baltimore and Frederick, I wouldn't want to be on there right now. So I just want to take a quick look at something.
So how quickly is this storm moving, Todd?
About 25 miles per hour. So it's not hauling, but it's moving, at a pretty good clip, and that is good news for us because that would cause a number of problems.
So that means people have time to make a move, get safe right now.
Yeah, if you're in Myersville, hopefully you are ducking and covering, so to speak. I mean, that's very important. I don't see nothing out of the ordinary here in terms of rotation, but I still think you should take it seriously because it's going to be a heavy storm no matter what. It just doesn't have to be tornadic to be a heavy storm. So there's the storm. We can do a couple of things. I'm going to try not to confuse you here, but we can do a couple of things. We're going to zoom into this, okay, and kind of do it like that. Okay, so Charlestown, that's a heavy storm, but you're not under the warning. This is the warning there, okay, over by Boonesboro and also by Frederick. So that's the right in there is where we want to go. Okay, boom. So this is Myersville. There's 70. And this, I think, Boonesboro, you're about out of it, but the winds could still be just to the west of Myersville and then pushing off to the north and the east across Interstate 70. So we, need you to take cover. I mean, you should always have a plan in place. So let's just see here what we see. Okay, so I don't see anything crazy in there in terms of winds, but I got to believe there's going to be 50-mile-per-hour winds in here, I would think. Certainly between 17 and Myersville. We're going to go in a little crazy here and go a little tighter, okay? So if you're down here, that you're done, okay? But if you're up across either side of 70, you're not. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. Around 17, let's say, and over up 17 northbound. So there's Frosttown, there's Myersville. There could be some pretty big winds right in here, around 40. 40 and I-70, not the place to be right now at all. It could be dangerous. Again, it is Doppler indicated tornado up around Boonesboro Mountain Road, but in between that and 70 down toward Myersville, It's at least, again, as I mentioned, a severe storm, okay, at the very least. That's the only warning we have. Again, the entire metro, well, the immediate metro, rather, is under a flood watch until 6:15. So the main threat with these storms, and the main reason Jonathan issued this weather watch alert this morning, was for flooding, because the atmosphere has tons of moisture in it, and we saw some heavy downpours as the front lifted northward. Well, now we have a break, okay? So we're going to see a couple more showers and storms tonight, but I think if you're in the immediate metro, the threat of severe weather is over. I think you're in pretty good shape. But this, again, is the warning, which goes until 6:15 today. Big storms still back west of Leesburg in the mountains, but right now they are not severe. So this is the second tornado warning we've had today, by the way. We had one in Charles County earlier, about 3 o'clock this afternoon. All right, so there's Myersville right there. So that's probably the worst part of the storm right now. We'll kind of move this down just a little bit here. Again, there we go, that's what I wanted. So I don't see anything crazy. I know this looks confusing to you. I just want to scope some winds here. Don't see anything super crazy here. I didn't see anything on an app I have on my phone. So that's good news. I think that's good news. We don't see any crazy winds at this point, but we are looking at the potential for at least strong winds, 30, 40, 50 miles per hour in this area. So again, we're not totally done with this storm, even if it doesn't put down a tornado. I just can't emphasize that enough, that it is still dangerous, because 50-mile-per-hour winds can also throw around debris, right? So that's the thing. Okay, so let's go back to home a little bit. So again, this is the warning, okay, till 6:15. And it's crossing over 70 as we speak. Fine in the metro, heavier storms back to the south and west behind that storm and south of Hagerstown, but this is the one we're concerned about. Now, where it's 5:46 here, we'll see if they extend this warning. My hunch is they're not going to do that, because I don't see any crazy rotation right now with the storm. I see some heavy rain. We see heavy rain. We've seen that all day, really. Heavy rain, probably 1 to 2 inches per hour. But as we zoom in, okay, to me, the storm is not as strong. We don't see any lightning. Yeah, crazy rain between, on 70 around either side of Myersville. But Shepherdstown, you just have heavy rain. Now they just issued it again. They moved that. I have to check. Chris, they moved that up they reissued this again past 6:15. Not yet, okay, so that's the same one. Maybe they just trimmed it. I guess they just trimmed the back side of it, but they haven't changed the front. So that's good news. So we know the storm's passed here. The question is, will they extend it northward into parts of Frederick County? But right now it's Frederick and Washington County until 6:15. Myersville, you're getting some big rains. I don't see any hail in the storm, and that's often a telltale sign of a tornadic storm that has hail. Don't see that with this one. We haven't seen any hail all day. We've just seen heavy rain and then 2 tornado warnings. So here we go. This is 70. That's Boonesboro Mountain Road, back towards 17. This is where the heaviest rain is. If we had some wind, I think it would be right around Myersville and just north as you go north on 17. This scan just came in. That's seconds old at this point. The chef's back. Chef, do we see any rotation on radar scope with this? I didn't see much at all, but I want to see if we see anything around 40.
Yeah, Topper, really nothing in terms of rotation within this this tornado warning rather, but we are seeing that really heavy rain right across 270. But in terms of a wind signature, nothing that's really standing out in terms of rotation.
I didn't see anything either. I didn't see any hail. We haven't seen any hail all day, right? So, okay, well, we still have the warning. I mean, we'll go back here. We still have the warning. But for the metro, there's really nothing happening right now. It's actually pretty quiet in the metro, but this is the one storm. And I think it's collapsed a little bit. We had just a couple of scans come through. Doesn't look crazy to me. Yes, it has heavy rain, no doubt, but I didn't see any velocity on it either. And I just don't see. Again, you should take cover. Anytime you're under a warning, take cover. But in terms of the heaviest rain, there it is on 70 and up 17. But I don't see any kind of crazy winds. And we're going to know shortly here if they do, in fact, extend that. And I think they might extend that back to the, I think they probably won't extend it to the north. So this is the scope. Yeah, I just don't see anything in there. Very little wind. Very little. This is velocity. I know it looks a little crazy, but it helps us determine whether or not we see rotation in the storm. And right now, we don't. I don't see much. Straight line
Tom,
winds, yes.
would it be okay if we do a little phoner with Anthony Rosano? He's the Director of Emergency Management for Frederick County, and maybe he can give us a little more detail that may help.
Yeah.
Director Rosano, are you there?
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Obviously, Topper and Caitlin have been talking the community through what's happening right now, but you're there. What are you seeing?
Yeah, no initial damage assessments at this point. We are warning all residents to just take cover, be safe, stay away from windows, go into the middle of your house or the lowest floor of your house. While this pretty windy storm, even if we don't see circulation, is still dropping some heavy rain and some possibly even some hail. So we're recommending everyone to just take precaution there and be safe, and we can determine whether or not we actually had any kind of circulation or tornadoes touchdown.
Yeah, Anthony, so what's the biggest threat right now? What are you seeing? Is it the strong winds, heavy rain? What is it?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Certainly during the rush hour time, we want to be careful of everyone driving on 70 there.
They dropped it. Okay.
And,
they did drop the warning.
Okay, so that tornado warning dropped?
Right,
Topper?
but as he mentioned, that it's still a dangerous storm with the winds and heavy rain. So, and that is often the case. It's still a storm worth taking cover for, even though it's not tornadic.
Yeah, and Anthony, you have folks just sort of out in the area right now and checking for any damage, because even though there's not a tornado warning, as you've mentioned, as Topper's mentioned, and Caitlin, you still have to deal with those strong winds.
That's correct. We'll be continuing to monitor 911 calls to make sure that there isn't any trends in certain areas, and certainly doing some initial windshield damage assessments to make sure that there wasn't any trees down from just those straight line winds or any flash flooding areas.
Well, Director Anthony Rosano, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us in the midst of the storm, literally talking with us. We hope that everything is going to be okay out in Frederick. And of course, we will be continuing to follow these storms both now and in the future this evening. We're going to take a quick break. Top, Caitlin, Zoe, we'll be right back.
Good for now.
Be right back.
Good. Good.
Thank you.
I was watching.